Esteemed Chief Speaker of today's function, the next Senior Advocate Sri Hon'ble Mishra, and my elder brother, the President of All Odisha Law Students and Lawyers Association, Mr. Rohit Kumar Shuna, the Secretary, Mr. Babi Sangram Kishore Sethi, my dear law students and learned members of the bar. It is always a pleasure interacting with young minds, because firstly it reminds me of my young days, and nobody wants to grow old. କାହାକୁ ବୁଢ଼ା ହବାକୁ ଇଚ୍ଛା ହୁଏନି। ତେଣୁ ଆପଣମାନଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖିଲେ ନିଜର ସେଇ ପୂର୍ବ ଦିନର କଥା ମନେ ପଡ଼େ। I'm very happy to have been invited here. It's always, as I said, not just a pleasure, but we also get to learn quite a lot from you, because you are the product of a new generation altogether. Now, coming to the topic, I don't think I can add much to what the learned Senior Advocate Mr. Mishra has said. He has had 48 years of experience, invaluable experience, and in this field, I can tell you, no amount of book can teach you what your experience can. So experience is the most valuable teacher. अनुभूति ही सबुठारु बड़ प्रशिक्षक शिक्षक जहाँ कोई पार। Nevertheless, I will just whatever I wanted to speak, most of the points Mr. Mishra has already touched. I will just briefly summarize from my experience. I cannot match his experience, of course. I have only around 30 years of experience as compared to his 48. It's nothing. Nevertheless, I still feel that I am learning, and there is scope to learn. I will elaborate on this a little later. Now, coming to the topic, it says building a successful career in litigation, challenges, courtroom learning, mentorship, and professional growth for young advocates. The topic itself is very difficult, so many things clumped up together. Nevertheless, career and there's a difference between making a career and making a successful career. If I ask you who was the first man to land on moon, yes, young lady. Yes? Anybody? Who was the second man? Who was the third man? Fourth man? Fifth man? Yes. This is the difference between career and successful career. So there is always a difference between winner and also ranks. So what we as young men, when we are building up a career, when we are digging up our foundation, building a foundation, how strong it is and how we build it will depend whether we are winners or also ranks in the end. Now, as Mr. Mishra has pointed out, for a law student there are three career options. Presently, what we find, three career options. One is a judicial service, one is litigation, and one is corporate. And each has its own advantages and disadvantages. So you have heard from a lawyer's perspective. I can say from both lawyer's perspective, because I have been a lawyer for 13 years before becoming a district judge. So I can speak from both also. Corporate, I do not know. It's up to you. But wherever you are, you have to make the best out of it. Like my father always used to tell me, if you think anything is worth doing in life, then it is worth doing well, or not at all. If you do and when Mr. Mishra said that he talked about his friends when he was not that successful, but his friends had already landed up in very good plum posts, lucrative jobs. So semane, patronizing way je to kathata korthile tanga sangere movie set of face koche life. I have seen unemployment for a long period, a lot of struggle I had to endure. Doesn't matter. It's a learning exercise. When somebody asked Thomas Alva Edison जे इलेक्ट्रिक बल्ब तैयारी करथिले 2000 attempt कला पर से तैयारी करथिले अपन मन जानि सोशल मीडिया तो पछाली you have failed 2000 times. He said I didn't fail. I learned 2000 ways of not making a bulb. That is important. This mindset is very important. So when we were subject to criticism because we could not really stand up in society at a young age when our friends and peers they already had landed up in good jobs, we did not say anything. Even today we don't attempt to justify ourselves or seek validation from our critics. We keep quiet. You know, the best way to silence your critics is to be successful yourself. Just be successful. You won't believe being silenced has its own, you can baffle everybody by your silence, followed by success. Even at this stage, we face severe criticism, vested interests, conspiracies, everything. We do not open our mouth. We do not take any action. We become successful. We try to better ourselves, as Mr. Mishra has done in his life. As I said, of the three career options, litigation is the most challenging. Why? Because at the end of the month, you are not assured what you will get. We have all seen those phases as a lawyer. My father used to tell me I was a very reluctant entrant to this profession. ମାନେ ଯାହାର ନାହିଁ ଅନ୍ୟ ଗତି ସେହି କରେ ଓକିଲାତି ସେଇଭଳିଆ ନ୍ୟାୟରେ ମୁଁ ଏଇଥିରେ ବସିଲି ଅନ୍ୟ କିଛି ତ ହେଲାନି କ'ଣ କରିବି I wanted to be an IAS officer, I failed. Thank for Yahalani, even though I was a very good student, but somehow it didn't click. As my elder brother has pointed out, I spent 5 years in farming. Now, of course, it is bearing fruit. So, I was successful in it. If I can go to a farm, the farm is doing very well. They experienced that. If my worker tries to cheat me, I can catch him. No, my father told me, look, the relationship between man and God is governed by religion. Okay? Man and God, dharma, religion. But the relationship between man and man in society, we are talking about the society, is governed by law. So, the best social service that you can do, apart from earning money of course, is by becoming a lawyer. Just now he gave an example. I have a lot of examples in my short career of 13 years, lot of examples, but because of want of time I will not get into that. What happened? After my father's death, my father had filed a case against the government after his retirement because he was entitled to certain dues, additional dues. He was illegally not given those dues, so he had filed a case and Mr. Hon'ble Mishra was conducting that case. So after my father's death, I had gone to his chamber to sign on the Wakalatnama because we were substituted in his place. There I saw the chamber, the files around, the books. I was stupefied. I tell you, that was my first view of a successful lawyer. Who supported Bhagavutli, he's a lawyer. I call him Nona. Lulu Nona will him. And I always had respect for him. But the respect that I acquired on that day was something different. That struck a chord. That inspired me. And my senior, Mr. Narendra Kishore Mishra. Then Jayanta Das, many others. So, as I said, you get inspired by others. Look at others. How they have 48 years. So, same thing here. My senior used to remember because my senior is also a friend of his. He said, Rati, gotte muk samane chamber fer tube cycle re tankara gadi dekhao. Biju pata chhaka pakare gote jo ambavashi ki kon thai se asumra se mane kotha ta karibe tabare ase. My senior is good. This is the kind of hard work that they are doing. Now, very quickly coming to successful career in litigation or fundamental ta move ke just I have touched in brief. Then I will go to the challenges. As I said, litigation is the most challenging option. Sometimes you can go without work, go without money. It can be very, very uncertain, very, very difficult. It's like, trying to stay afloat in rocky waters. But as he has pointed out, you have to have a different work ethic. When I actually joined the chamber of one Mr. Padmacharan Bhada in Dhekana, is no more. मुझे तो लॉ पढ़ू थे ढेंकानाल लॉ कॉलेज रे तो इवनिंग रे ताके चेंबर को जाते the first day that I met him in his chamber, he told me that look, to be a successful lawyer you have to work like a horse and live like a saint. बड़ा परी परिश्रम करिया पड़िबो, सन्यासी परी जीवन यापन करिया पड़िबो. अरे सन्यासी माने कोन गेल फुल पिंदी की बाला फला दाढ़ी फेट रखी बुली बिना कोन. That is you. He has got it. कोर्ट बसी सुनी बाहर जी गपी मोर कैरियर करबार अछि कोर्ट मो पे इम्पोर्टेंट लेट मी फिक्स अप माय कैरियर. I am reminded of a Hindi film Holiday. A soldier is never off duty. Akshay Kumar. I'll say a lawyer is never off duty, and of course a judge is also never off duty. People may say that judges take vacation. Like one of my cousin brothers told me that आपण माने तो खाली वैकेशन और कोन आपण तो खाली शो सिंपल तो आपण माने गोटे काम करंतु आपण गोटे दिन सकाळ 8 रु तापर दिन 8 टा जाय रहू मो सागे आपण जानिथिबे सकाळ इति बडा फाइल मु पडी गेछि गले तक जजमेंट देखि and that is not the only fact. So it's not that simple, and for a lawyer he has to be available 24/7. He can't say to a client who calls him na mu aji aji mu I give time to my family, I will not look at you. It's not. I am not trying to say that you don't have to. You don't give time to your family. You have to. You have to learn that art of categorizing your life's priorities. So you have to be available. Then second thing is hard work. If somebody asks me, tell me 3 magic formulas for success. 3 magic formulas. I will say hard work, and hard work. At the beginning, at the middle, and at the end. Just look at the senior counsel. After putting in 48 years of practice, he's still doing hard work. What he was doing at the earlier stage. Well, true. It is said that in the initial stages there is only work, no money. Then it is slowly as you go, there is only work, some money. At a stage, one day you will reach a stage where it is there is no work, only money. It can happen. But let us not forget the hard work that has gone behind it. Then he also pointed out about patience. You have to be patient. Patience is a virtue which you cannot ignore. And patience will prevent you from comparing yourself with Mukul Rohtagi, Harish Salve, and those top shot lawyers, or even Mr. Manoj Mishra. Somebody comes to the bar today and he'll start comparing himself with Mr. Manoj Mishra. Very strange. You just don't become like that. And for a lawyer, when you are young, sometimes somebody will give you a case and some other lawyer will come into the picture and he will again come and ask the briefer. You feel very bad, but what can you do? Be patient. Don't worry. Don't try to snatch the brief from him. Then avoiding temptations. This field has also many I'll say it's a minefield. There are mines laid all around like booby traps. In America, there is a section of lawyers called the ambulance chasers. Very fondly, or not so fondly, they are called ambulance chasers. Accident victims. Well, there's a joke between an American and a Britisher. Britisher, with his typical conservative pride, he said, look, in our country, if somebody dies, we pay the compensation to the widow at the funeral. The American was, he will never be defeated. So he said, supposing in our country what happens, you see we have skyscrapers, 100 tala building. Jone loko jodi se 100 tala upor thai podi gala. Amar insurance company ta machire 50 tala thai, se podi gala loko ame tari hatare check ta dhari di. This is a joke, but this happens. Amar ethi sendi achanti a section of lawyers. They look at the money. But let us not forget, earning money is very, very important. It is important, but it is not the only thing to be thought of. Because advocacy is a profession, it's not a business. Please keep this distinction in mind. हमें आईन व्यवसाय बोली कही दूँ, but it is about पैसा. हमें काम कले, हम पैसा रहे, हमें अन्य लोगों को साझे कले, हमें पाऊँ ना पाऊँ, we get our fees or profits. Profit motive है गला तो business है गला. So for that we have to develop certain ethical conduct. Client को नीचे कोई तक पैसा नहीं दिया, dishonesty. सिर्फ ये वो बिचरा गरीब लोग का, तो there have been many examples also. But Mulu, if we can keep our feet on the ground, जब कोई कोई ट्रेन दे, जो derail है क्या कौन हो? It cannot reach its destination. It will only invite very evil consequences. Then maintaining the attitude to learn, you have to have an open mind. I'll give you an example, which I've given many times also before in the bar. Wherever I go, wherever I address the lawyers, because this example has really struck my heart, struck the certain chords of my heart. You have all heard of a wise king called Solomon, maybe Israel, King Solomon, the wise. So his queen was also very wise. So they always used to test each other. Kahar buddhi ke. So queen gote sarto rakhi raja ko test kari. She came with 2 flower bouquets like this. 2 flower bouquets. And it's plastic not. Dita sundar fuller pushpaguchha flower bouquets and kept it on the in the let us say the court hall of the king. Machire rakha. She called, "O king, these are 2 flower bouquets. One is original, the other is a fake." It is pura account. अपन माने दोनों थई देखी कहबे कोटा सत कोटा ए कोटा माने ओरिजिनल कोटा डुप्लीकेट आ सेमिति गेस करे तो कोटा जदी आपण कहले सेटा जदी न होतो आटा हितो सेमिति हो यू हैव टू जस्टिफाई योर आंसर विथ रीजंस आपण स्पर्श करि परिबे नाही ताकू सुगी परिबे नहीं किसी बिल्कुल पाखु जाई तरी आपण जब से काथा पाखरे आपण इछि नाही कहबे कहीं भी सेटा आपण जेन्युइन बोले आपण विभिन्न लोक विभिन्न कथा कहले हारि गेले but the queen always wanted the king to respond. The king said, "Yes, queen, I can say." Just a moment. He asked his courtiers to open the windows. कहले आगे झरका सब कर दे. झरका खोला पर झरका से पटे अछि बगीचा अछि फूल गछ अछि भ्रमर. The bees came, drawn by the flowers, by the fragrance of the flowers. But whose fragrance? Original flower. Semane to dhokka khaile. Semane to kebal dhokka khaile because they are guided by the scent, by the fragrance. So they sat on the original flower. It happened only because he opened the windows. Similarly, you open the windows of your mind, allow thoughts, allow knowledge, allow information to come in. और जदि तुम भावियो मु आज्ञा सही सेमिस्टर constitutional law I taught my class, so I am an expert in constitution. You just heard Mr. Mishra quoting Justice Hansaria, one of the most brilliant judges of this country, saying that I know nothing about constitution. And if having scored some marks, if you think that you have really mastered constitutional law, then what you are doing is you are closing your mind. And like a parachute, the human mind works only when it is open. Parachute doesn't work when it is closed. Then another challenge is losing cases. We all know, or we all try to know how to win cases, isn't it? To be successful, you have to win cases. But I would say, along with that, you must also know how to lose cases. What does it mean? Are we going to deliberately lose? No. What I mean is, when you lose a case, analyze it. Pause for a moment. Dissect it. Make a post-mortem of the case. Why did I lose? There may be a tendency among lawyers to blame the judge. The judge is okay. That is alright insofar as answering your client is concerned. The judge is always at the receiving end, by the way. Anyway, but for you, did I draft it well, or did I not draft it well? Did I arrange the points in the logical sequence? Have I left out any important point which could have, gathered the attention of the court? So the dissection is necessary. This is how you learn how to lose a case. Don't blame anybody. Don't lose heart only because you have lost a case. So this is briefly what I wanted to say about challenges, because these are the challenges. When you lose a case, it becomes a challenge, practical challenge. Then we come to the next point, which is courtroom learning and mentorship. Can you learn swimming from books? How many? Many good books, many AI apps will teach you how to swim and all that. No, you have to get into the water. You have to get into the water. Hato kodo chatti bakku. Bade kadwe mujani swim. टीवी रे आपण देखिए डॉक्टर ऑपरेशन को आपण ऑपरेशन करती करी कोई से देखो इनके काटता ना इनके करता ना कोर्स होता है करे कर दे बिल्कुल because these are all applied subjects. You learn by application. You learn by application. I'm reminded of first advice given to me by a senior lawyer from Bhubaneswar, Mr. Manomohan Basu. No more, very short, very dynamic person. When somebody introduced me that he is Mr. So-and-so and he has joined the profession very recently, he told me he had heard this story from somebody. He passed it on to me, and every time I address the lawyers, I keep on passing it. He says, "Kukuda is chinga. Chicks. You've seen the mother hen? You will find that almost in every other species, they feed their children. But the hen never does that. Hen goes on picking up the grains from the ground. The trail of chicks, the line of chicks. This is how they learn. Think your senior is like that. Your senior will never teach you. Why? Why will not teach you? Because it doesn't have the time. It doesn't have the time. You have to learn by watching him. Watching him in the court. So, how he is arguing, how he is presenting the facts, how he is answering the court, how he is answering the other side. This is what Mr. Mishra has referred to all these things in detail. I will not repeat. But this is very important. Then, my senior told me that you have to be master of facts. By joining the profession of law, given the chance, I will change it to profession of facts. The law कथाटा में कोई लोग हम आइटे के law आड़ू पहुँच. Law जे fact तक देखी fact को नहीं की law सुनियर exist करे ना. Apply law to facts, not facts to law. Law टा यहाँ कोई ला, तो ना हमें fact और theory पे वैसे उनसे. विचार सोता कोई बुरा मोड़ा मोड़ी करी की बुरी theory करता ना. वो fact आया, यही fact law कौन होगी. That is how we must. So there are some examples, but again, I have another assignment, so that's why I'll just cut short. Then restraint. Court केमती कुहाजिबो? You have to be courteous. You have to know the court craft. You have to maintain the court etiquette. That's all. But you must also learn what not to say. Restraint is very important. Because what as judges I can tell you, sometimes we get very irritated when unnecessary things are being stated. Because we don't have time. A lawyer may have 1 or 2 cases, we have 100 cases to deal with. That must be kept in mind. Then as he has pointed out again, know the court. Court of basically court ko agar chuno. Judges are human beings. One judge may behave in a particular manner. The other judge may behave in another manner. One judge may be very fast. One judge may be very slow. One judge may be law oriented. The other judge may be fact oriented. Accordingly, you have to mold your argument as he has said. Then anticipation. This is the most important thing he has also dealt with it. Your success lies in developing the ability to anticipate not only your opponent's move but also what the judge will ask. If I am going to place this fact, the judge will definitely ask me. Like very recently, a very senior lawyer, even a senior lawyer, I think, he had never anticipated a question. He started placing the impugned judgment, the judgment under challenge, saying how bad it is. Look, sir, this is the law. And what kind of judgment he has passed. You may see. And he started, criticizing the judgment very heavily. I just asked him one question. I said, sir, when was the judgment passed? And such and such date. When did you file this writ application? And such and such date. How many years have gone by in the meantime? 18 years. What were you doing in these 18 years? Are dismissed on the ground of delay. He never could anticipate. Then he said, sorry, my lord, I may be granted an opportunity to explain the delay. Look, a senior lawyer fell into the trap. He could not anticipate that I have come to the court. Yes, the judgment is very bad. So what? You were sleeping. One day you woke up like Kumbhakarna. Hothat nida bhagya mu asi. And court dora dakharu aija apna order to set kono. Court je apekha kari bosbe aija apna borsho mu to court bi apekha kari bosbe 10 borsho aija apna asbe kodun apna pada podibo hajur anticipation. Se prepare korche the case bahut bada prepare korche senior lawyer but ei part of chhadi and courtroom learning and mentorship re gote katha kahibi do not lose the court. You may succeed in a case by misleading the court on a particular point. But if the court comes to know of it, then he will always view you with suspicion. Tomorrow, even if you come with a good case, he will look at you with suspicion. But if you are fair, in my court, when I was hearing bail matters, one lawyer, I asked him, yes, Mr. So-and-so, what is the matter? He stood up, said, Lordship may reject. There is actually nothing. My client came to me, I had to file it. But I cannot argue because I know your Lordship will not grant because there is nothing in it. And I found, look at the fairness. And in the civil side, the matter was filed. When I asked the lawyer, yes, what are the substantial questions of law? He said, Lordship, there are no substantial questions. I said, then I dismiss it. This is fairness. So tomorrow when that lawyer appears, I will be having this in my at the back of my mind, that he is a fair lawyer. That doesn't mean that immediately I will grant him the relief, but at least I will not doubt him. Then final, and which is very short, is professional growth. Look, there can be no better example than Mr. Manoj Mishra. You see the chart of his professional growth. It has risen exponentially, but not one day, 48 years, where he is now. If you have practiced the first two aspects, well, then you have laid the foundation for the third. Then I will just say again, there are 3 P's. P as in Puri. What are the 3 P's? First is planning. Second is preparation. Third is presentation. What is planning? Planning begins the moment the client walks in. He may not know the law, but he knows what his case is. Don't know, he deserves a patient hearing. No, this will not do. Give him a patient hearing. Hear what he says. He knows what he wants from the court. He may not tell you in the legal language, but he knows what he wants. If you can understand his problem, even from his perspective, then half of your work is done. So that is mental preparation. Preparation begins with the client. Then, planning. Then we come to preparation. Preparation includes, drafting, research, and again anticipating. मुझे तो इटा लिखी भी, तो अदर साइड तार रिप्लाई करता है, से AI कर दूँ. तक को anticipate करने में तो कौन लिखी ले हो? It is not easy. It is not easy. So, then cross examination. I will come to that a little later. So, research and anticipation. Anticipating what the other side or what the court will say. Then final is presentation. Argument. How will I argue? This argument kala puru jaya सब कोई सी सब कथा माइंड रखता है. कोर्ट को करनी. If he is a very fast judge, then I have to hit the bullseye. So I have to just pinpoint. My lord, this is my case. Immediately he'll catch. But if he is a very slow court, then Mulu pura aapko sequencing kari karo. It's like this. Cross examination. If you are a trial court lawyer, then you must know the art of cross examination. Because if it's a criminal case, then your defense, the foundation of your defense lies in your cross examination. You have to be to the point. There has to be no repetition, and all those things. So these 3 P's, they are again influenced by the first 2 that I referred to, the challenges and the courtroom learning and mentorship, which I am calling it. So sabu through a foundation that give time, be patient, and you become a professional. Your capacities as a human being improves. Your ability to think logically improves. You know what is law? Law is nothing but common sense. Not just common sense, it is organized common sense. As I said, the client knows what he wants, but he may or may not know the law. What he has is emotion. That is what distracts him. But for a lawyer or a judge, no emotion, only the law. That case hai, only the law. So that is how you function as a thoroughbred professional. Finally, my final word is, you have to measure your success by your ability to secure justice to your client, not by how many Mercedes cars you have, not how many buildings you have. Even an illiterate man can be a millionaire. There are millionaires in our country who are illiterate. But a lawyer, because when a person, like he said about that second appeal, duped by his manager, when he came to him seeking relief, because of his professional ability acquired over years and years of hard work, he could give justice to his client. So this is all about it, my dear friends. And I'm sure with hard work and dedication and of course commitment, you have to decide whether you want to be successful or not. It is you who will decide. You will make your own destiny. There is no other invisible force than what is within you, the will to succeed. And as I said, nothing succeeds like success. But then, as I have also said, at certain times you have to be silent. Silent and silence others by your success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your 3 P's: planning, preparation, and presentation. Thank you, sir, for your inspiring and insightful words. Now, to honor